This happened in the summer of 2008. Back then, in a necromancy, they needed a child to look into a little cup for a woman who was supposed to be possessed. The child's role was to see what would be visible in the cup, and so it was me who looked into it. What was visible in the cup was some oil, which reflected a man dressed in black, with a long black beard, and was in a place full of wreckage. I didn't understand what that meant, yet I told the necromancer anyway. Since that day, my life was never the same. You could say that I feel like there is something that is accompanying me all day long, kind of attached to me. Something that I can't see, yet I can feel. In every sense of the word, I can feel its heat, its breath, its sound in my mind. I remember back in grade 7 of middle school, I was up at night in the living room finishing my homework when something strange started to happen. I look at the door of my room and find that it is slowly opening, knowing that there is nobody inside. I kept a close eye at the opening door, and what I came to see was an unsettling scene of an old woman coming out of my room. The way her face looked was terrifying, as she had a yellowish pale face and a huge wide smile covering her face. She kept walking up until the point where she stopped in the middle of the corridor and turned to keep her fixed wide eyes on me. She kept looking at me for a good period. It felt like a decade as she stared into my eyes, penetrating my soul, extracting every bit of fear, terror, and panic out of me. And just like that, she turned and went back to my room, disappearing from sight. I don't exactly remember how long after this incident, but it was around 2 days later. I was heading back home with one of my friends from school, and there was an abandoned house that we just used to pass by. The house had a strange-looking wide window. I looked precisely at it and found the same woman holding a rosary in her hand with the same wide smile on her face. At this time, she had a black veil on her head, and suddenly a chill ran down my spine when she started waving at me. I just didn't comprehend what was going on, and I just told my friend about what I'm seeing and asked her, but she started to think that I'm trying to scare her, telling me knock it off, I'm not seeing anyone. I just got home and explained what happened to my grandma. Her only response was a strict order of not passing by this house ever again, continuing by saying that what I saw was not human. After listening to what I've said, my grandma got into a fight with my father, blaming him for what I've gone through, referring to the initial incident. A long time has passed, maybe a month or so, and one night we were sleeping, me and my younger sister in the same room, and we started to hear a loud banging on the desk. All of a sudden, my sister was about to kick me, saying, "Could you kindly knock it off, cause I'm desperately trying to get some sleep here." I was shocked when she said so, asking her, "Did you just hear that?" Realizing that I was not hallucinating, she replied saying, "Of course I did," when the banging started again. My sister went silent, realizing that it was not me who made the sound, and in a matter of seconds we ran to my father, waking him up and telling him about what just happened. And he came, illuminated the room, and as always, there was nothing. I just asked him to turn off the light and see what would happen, and so he did, hearing the banging as he turned it off. Illuminating the room, my dad was a little scared, trying to give us some illogical explanation. We didn't really risk it to turn the light off, and so we left the light on for the rest of the night. 2 days later, my father asked me to visit my grandpa's grave with him, as he wanted to chit-chat, and that was a normal thing that we used to do every now and then. When we got there, my father was doing prayers for Grandpa. I didn't. I was watching something else. Far away, in front of a grave, there was a body wrapped in a shroud on the ground, and it looks like it was taken out of a grave. I told my dad, and he said there is nothing to be seen, leaving me confused and terrified. We headed home, thinking all the way about what just happened. Yet out of tire, I fell asleep once I saw the bed. And at that same night, I woke up exactly at 3 a.m. to someone who keeps calling me by my name, and I would never sleep until the dawn. When that happens, I keep having a recurring nightmare about a dark black, hairy hand that comes out of the wall behind me as it reaches my head and squeezes, spreading panic throughout my soul. They say that I'm having constant hallucinations now, but one night I woke up to the screaming of my mom. When we got to her, she was sitting on the bed, shaking, refusing to tell us what she saw. In hopes that she would talk to him, give him any kind of information about what just happened, Dad just got us all out. Yet I didn't settle until I sneaked and peeked through the crack of the door and heard, "She needs help. She needs help. We need to get the church involved." With that said, the next day I actually met a priest in the house. He put his hand on my head, talked in a language that I didn't understand, gave me a piece of paper to put under my pillow, and gave my dad holy water, asking him to spread it across all the corners of the house. In a matter of seconds, I was unconscious. What they told me later on was that I had talked in the language of the priest and had the strength of 100 men combined and a voice of a monster. They got me knocked out when a full bucket of holy water was poured on me, and a continued prayer of the priest got whatever was present vanished. To be honest, things got a lot better since that day, but for me, I have to tell everyone who is an adult to never put any children under no circumstance in a situation like mine. You never know what might happen if a kid grows up with such memories in their heads.